All right, would you all please stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, under God, with justice and liberty for all. My bad, if y'all couldn't tell, I was a little nervous right there. I was a little nervous. I'm finna present the pledge. I'm finna present.
Thank you. You may be seated. This evening is one of those evenings that most of us have been waiting for 13 years. And this year, a little more than that. A night to recognize and honor our graduating seniors. This graduation ceremony calls for the utmost dignity and respect. The way we conduct ourselves tonight sends a message to our seniors and our community about who we are. You chose this school because you believe that all children deserved a top-notch education, because it was diverse and reflected the real world, because it offered opportunities that perhaps another school could not. You chose this school because you wanted the best for your son or daughter. I know that each and every one of you are incredibly proud of your student and their accomplishments. But let's not take away from this honored ceremony by using air horns, noisemakers, or distracting demonstrations when your child is called. Every family deserves to hear its graduate's name announced. A professional photographer will be taking a picture of your graduate, so please remain in your seat so everyone can have a clear view. There has been a tremendous amount of support for the seniors who sit with us this evening. The administrative teams and combined faculties of CSAS and CSLA have worked diligently to ensure the graduating class of 2020 received an exceptional liberal arts education grounded in the tenets of Paideia philosophy, ensuring that each graduate is ready for what comes next. Mrs. Kelly Kofelt, the lower school principal, and Crystal Scarborough, the principal of CSLA, regretfully could not be here this evening, but both send their congratulations to all of you. Would Dr. Julia Gaines and Carmen Veller, assistant principals for the upper school, please stand? Your dedication to the students is unsurpassed. Thank you for all you do. Will the faculties of CSAS and CSLA stand to be recognized for their contributions to the development of the minds, of the hearts of our seniors? Thank you for what you do. There is no other faculty that pours every ounce of its being into students more than this one. And I want to take this moment, too, to thank so many of the teachers who have put in quite a bit of time to make this all happen tonight, from the fans and the koozies to the markings in the stands to the balloons that I messed up that you can still enjoy over here near Siskin. Yeah, I'm in trouble for that one. But you still get to enjoy them. But let me acknowledge one more person, Mr. Gary Wilkes, who is actually our retirement for the year. Mr. Wilkes is retired, but has come back and said that he did not want to miss. He said that if he had known the fourth quarter was going to go the way it had, he may not have retired. Thank you for all you've done, Mr. Wilkes. Parents, we have given our very best to your student. We are honored to have been your partner and are humbled by the trust you have given us. As parents, you have supported, nurtured, encouraged, and even nudged your student. Let's be honest, we've sometimes dragged them kicking and screaming to make sure that they're part of this senior class. But our students' accomplishments are a result of this partnership. So thank you, parents. I would like to recognize some special guests who are here with us tonight. They are actually over-sitting with our faculty this evening. Our very own school board member, Tiffany Robinson from District 4, who is also a CSAS parent. And then Miss Caritza Mosley Jones, the school board member from District 6, who is also, District 5, I'm sorry, I had it right over here, just said it wrong, who is also a CSAS graduate. So we're happy to have you here. And then next to them, we have Dr. Robert Sharp. He is the Executive Director for the Rock Point Learning Community. I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Morris.
I'm honored today that I was chosen to represent my classmates in presenting the class gift to the school. Our class gift this year is going to be a water bottle filler that we're going to place on the 3rd floor of the school. Now, if you're wondering, why would this be their class gift, just know only 2 people voted on the poll, so that's what we came up with. Honestly, I didn't know if we'd ever get to have this experience because of obvious reasons, but with the Lord's blessing, we were able to have this day in order to scratch off this important milestone. I'm incredibly proud of my classmates because there is nothing but talent sitting here in front of you. I have a 4.0 grade point average, and I'm not even in the top 10% of the class. Just think about that. A 4.0 at CSAS can't even guarantee you into the top 10%. Now, I don't say that out of animosity, but I do say that to show you how intelligent the individuals before you here are today. And it is a pleasure that I've been competing academically with them for these past couple of years. We also have talents in athletics as well, with multiple people going on to college to play softball, track, baseball, football, soccer, lacrosse, etc. With all this talent, I know we'll go off to do great things that everyone sitting here will be proud of. So all in all, I'm proud to be a part of this amazing class. So for parents, faculty, and everyone else in attendance, just sit back and watch how great we'll be. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. I know it's kind of windy and we fighting all this wind, but at least we're here together celebrating again. Once again, welcome to this momentous occasion. It's been a long time coming. This morning, Mr. Hendricks said it best. From 8th grade to when we were at DC and a fire alarm was pulled, and we were sitting outside, PJs on, about to get in the bed, and we're out there sitting in the cold, 30-degree weather, to freshman year where we're on lockdown because of a school shooter, to everything that's transpired this past year, we finally made it. When COVID-19 hit, many schools and districts closed down canceled their graduations with no plans of moving it to another date. But thanks to Mr. Bowles, this great staff, and the front office, we're here together celebrating. Let's give them a round of applause again. On a personal note, I would like to thank the faculty and staff for allowing me the opportunity to be one of the graduation speakers. You could have chosen anyone else out of this unique class, and for that, I am grateful. I would also like to thank you all for the many lessons you taught me in and outside the classroom, and the numerous life stories that we would sometimes be interested in just to pass class time. Shout out to Mr. Grew and Mr. Schultz. I would also like to thank my friends for the many laughs, debates, rap battles, dance battles, jug sessions, laughs and tears, all that and more. Thank you for the many memories. I'm truly miss you all. I would also like to thank my family, my mom and dad, Anthony and Virginia Taylor, my brothers, Jason and Gerard, my auntie Adrian, Ariana, and Ivan, and my whole family, because without them, I wouldn't be here. And last but not least, I have to give praise to God, because without him, none of this would be possible. As we stand here together and reflect on the past four plus years, we have numerous reasons to celebrate. All those late nights, early mornings, procrastination and time management, laughs and tears all finally paid off. And when 2020 began, we were cheering, we're almost there, we're halfway there, close to graduation. But now, we're asking the question, July, what do you got for us? From Kobe Bryant's passing to the current uproar around the country, this year has given us many reasons to complain, to fear, and to completely give up on our futures. But this evening, I'm here to hopefully shift the moods and perspectives back into a positive light. Much like you all, I became devastated when they closed down schools and told us to stay at home until told otherwise, like most of y'all listen. Our senior year was taken, our summer was taken, and possibly the next chapter of our lives could be taken. All the reason to give up. However, instead of using this year as an excuse, see it as a test. And not just a test, but a test that we can pass. And no, I'm not talking about the PACER test from Ms. Davidson or the ACT or one of Mr. Lowry's government tests. And on behalf of the class, we apologize for that year. Now you're probably saying, really, Jeremiah? We're about to graduate high school. You talk about tests? Well, look, I know it's cliche, but hear me out. As I was writing my speech, I looked up the meaning of the number 20. And the meaning of number 20 boils down to a cycle of completeness or a perfect period trial of waiting. And once completed, reward will be due. So far this year, it goes without saying, we have been tested in every way as a country, all the way down to our local communities. And most importantly, we've been tested as individuals, as seniors. In the past 50 years, we're the class that has taken the biggest hit. Just as we were preparing for our last prom, our last track meet, our last baseball game, our last open lunch, our last goodbye to our friends, all of it was taken away. In addition, the biggest transition in our life to college, to the workforce, to the military, to adulthood in general, was put on hold. Yet, while we are the class whose future has been put on hold, we are also the class that was prepared for all the tests of 2020 had to offer. Thanks to this faculty and staff once again, we are more than prepared for the challenges and trials that this year has and will throw at us. When the period of trial or quarantine first began, we were faced with the question of where we are as a country, as a state, and once more as individuals. Our patience was challenged, our character was challenged, and even our faith was challenged. However, as CSAS students, challenges were common. Mr. A. Singer's essays, Power to the People, Medea debate, American Dream Senior Project, and a plethora of other projects, quizzes, and tests. What we are facing right now is not something we can't handle. Yes, the current world problems is on a greater level than we were ever facing in our academic careers, even more our whole life. But what we have been taught at this great school and this great organization by these great teachers, they have taught us how to handle this test. How, you may ask? Well, there are 3 primary principles that were instilled in us, whether it was 4 years or 13 years, that taught us how to handle this test of 2020. The first principle is the principle of always being an active learner. As you already know, Mr. Bowles and the CSAS staff preach this every year, and now is no better time to apply this to our lives. During quarantine and COVID-19, we have been given ample time to reevaluate ourselves and pick up new hobbies and habits, whether it be simply going outside more, opening a business venture, or, for some of you all, becoming TikTok famous. One way or another, we have discovered new things about ourselves and even about the world, or in other words, being an active learner. If you're not taking the time to reevaluate yourself, I encourage you to. Find ways to better yourself and better yourself personally for what will come post-corona, and embrace the principle of being an active learner, or, in the words of Mr. Bowles, find that new grit. Even take the time to reflect on those life stories that we thought that would be interested in half the time to use in our own lives. Like Madame Portier's coupon stories that we thought were funny at the time, but look back as we're in college or in adulthood and say, what would Miss Portier do? Or even Mr. Hendricks's weekly thrift store steals on how he'll buy what would be a $600 blazer for $2. You guys know those are just a few of the many stories and conversations we had on a daily. But I encourage you all, continue to be an active learner and even pass lessons and stories from our teachers to the next generation. The second part of that principle is citizenship. During our time at CSAS, one of the most important values we were taught was to always be active in our communities. Looking back at it now, this was not something that was just taught, but also personified. A number of teachers led by example like Ms. Fitzsimmons, Mr. Munger, Dr. Gaines, and a number of other faculty and staff. And I would like to personally thank you all for not only teaching us how to be better people, but showing us. Even though right now our duties as citizens is to stay at home as much as possible, which I hope you all are doing, there was another test that required us to refer back to this value principle. Back in April, our city and our county experienced a tornado that challenged the strength and character of our city. However, despite the current state of our world, we came together as a county and as a community to help those who were in need, and whether we did our part by going out, moving debris, rebuilding homes, donating, or simply staying at home to prevent the spread of the virus, we should be proud of a school that taught us how to be the best possible citizens, not just for the present times, but for the years to come. Once the virus passes, we still have a community to take care of and to still build a better tomorrow as students. Those 100 hours weren't for nothing. They were to prepare us for now. The third and final principle, and the one that I believe is most important for our present time, is the principle of understanding and speaking on topics and issues. Just in the past few weeks, American citizens, especially our generation and class, have been speaking out and protesting against numerous unlawful deaths of African-American men and women at the hands of police. Moreover, we have unmasked the obvious truth of inequality that still plagues our world today. As a result of these nationwide peaceful protests, our country would never be the same, and we as students have both the power and the preparation by this school to be the voice that speaks out against these unruly acts and advocate for a better tomorrow. As an African-American male, I should not be afraid to walk out my home or get pulled over by a policeman. I shouldn't be afraid to simply go down the street and get a snack from the gas station. I should not be afraid to go jogging in my predominantly white neighborhood that I live in. I should not be afraid to be in the comforts of my own home and enjoy a nice bowl of ice cream. I should not be afraid to live life. This cycle of hatred has been going on for too long, and as a part of this generation, as a part of this CSAS graduating class of 2020, we have the opportunity and power to be the change. In the words of LeBron James, now more than ever, we have the responsibility, not just the power, but the responsibility to be the change this country needs. All the preparation and practice for those big speeches, from Power to the People to Senior Project, and those countless seminars that were pointless, are needed now more than ever. Everything that we've been through in the past 13 years of our school career, from Miss Griffith's handshakes before class to exploring Jekyll Island in Washington, D.C., to interning and volunteering at various businesses, this organization, this community, this school, this family has made us more than prepared for what's to come. And because of that, we will be the class that will pass in 2020 only if we cherish these Paideia principles and use it and apply it to our lives. We will be the class that will not let a virus hinder us from achieving our dreams and aspirations. We will be the class that continuously strives for better. We will be the class that will be the helping hand for those who are in need. We will be the class that will be the voice for the country and be the change this country needs. We will be the class that will finally put an end to racism and hatred. We will be the class that will make our parents, our teachers, and our community proud. We, the graduating class of 2020, will be the class whose names will be written in history books, not because only of virus, but because of our dedication and responsibility to build a better tomorrow. We will be the class that passes the test of 2020 and any other tests that life may throw at us, because we are the CSAS graduating class of 2020. Thank you.
Can we just give another round of applause to that amazing speech? Today marks the end of an era of learning, making mistakes, growing up. It has been a time filled with us becoming who we are today. As I've been reminiscing on all of our shared memories and our few life lessons that we've learned through the years, I've also thought of all the memories we've missed out on because of the COVID-19 virus. I can't help but imagine all the what ifs. I can't help but imagine what it would have felt like to clean out our lockers ourselves one last time, or how loud we could have shouted in the auditorium when Mr. Bowles announced, for the last time, the class of 2020, or how bittersweet it would have walked through the halls for the final time during our senior strut. I have also put time and thought into into the finality of how everything would have felt when we wrote letters to our future selves in advisory. I'd imagine we would look back on our experience at CSAS and with each other and ask ourselves questions such as, are we doing well in college? Are we still best friends with who we are today? We never got to ask ourselves those questions, but I believe our letter would go something like this. It would begin with memories from the first day of kindergarten, how we painted our hands so that they could serve as a leaf on the tree of learning in our hallway. Kindergarten year was a year filled of fun projects and crafts, like making our own paper flags and hats for the 100th day of school parade. Our elementary years were when we could wake up and be excited for school, when we'd be ecstatic for the annual book fair, where we bought anything but books. Instead, we always managed to come home with a backpack full of smelly erasers and bendy pencils. Fast forward to 5th grade, when we all adored Miss Griffith and thought she was our very own Miss Frizzle. Or when we went to Jekyll Island and quickly got a taste for how Mr. Hendricks would discipline us in high school as he lectured the boys on manners because one of them left their boxers out to dry on the stairs. Soon after our first experience with Mr. Hendricks, we were thrown into the world of middle school, where our family grew as we welcomed students from other schools, such as Tyner and Hickson. It was in middle school when we were first introduced to our fine arts classes and to the concept of movement, where we had the 20 minutes of required physical activity the county mandated, but we never really moved. We continued to grow into ourselves, even when it was awkward during those 3 years. We became more outspoken and more willing to fight for what we believed in. We began to form friendships with our classmates as we bonded over comical experiences, such as standing outside in the freezing cold on our 8th grade DC trip when someone pulled the fire alarm in the middle of the night. We were reminded then, by Nurse Pickens, of how young we still remained, but that we were swiftly approaching our 4 years of high school, where we have to become more serious in our decisions and begin focusing on our futures. It was also on this trip that we were briefly introduced to our future classmates from CSLA, who would join our family the very next year. As our high school careers commenced, we started our freshman year off by expanding our grade once again, with students from schools like Eastridge and Normal Park. We experienced what would be our final Boyd Buchanan homecoming game, and an intruder drill that tested our fight or flight instincts, as our responses varied from continuing class and finishing biology tests to equipping ourselves with textbooks, or once again in Mr. Hendricks' class's case, golf clubs. Ninth grade year was also some of our first chances to explore what makes us tick. We were given chances to sing with the choir and one day make it to Disney, or explore our passion for art and have our work be showcased in a contest, or even being among the best musicians Tennessee has to offer by performing in All-State. It was also a year where we were reminded once again of how much weight our choices carried with us, as our class selections allowed some of us to end up in New York with the band, while others were left in Chattanooga, crafting ghost stories and creative writing. With these many avenues to broaden our curriculum, our grades still felt limited somehow. We were always deprived of privileges that were taken away from us because of the grades that came before us, so we never really got to experience some, such as sitting in the hallway before school or having the haunted trail be inside the building our freshman year. But the administration always found a way to introduce our grade to something new. Our sophomore year, something new ended up being basic training, a class we feared to be our school's way of inducting us into some sort of ROTC program. But we were quickly and pleasantly surprised to learn it was a class for developing skills, such as ironing or taking part in woodshop. We were once again presented with opportunities to explore our creative passions when theater became a choice for an elective class. This led some of us to living out our very own High School Musical dreams with a lip-syncing production to a West Side Story. But with all of these wonderful chances to grow and succeed, like most teenagers, we made mistakes. Sorry, Mr. Lowry. But these decisions were our own, and we chose to learn from them rather than allowing them to define us. We worked on bettering ourselves as we worked forward toward our junior year. It was a year of unbelievable growth and achievements for our grade. We completed the infamous American Dream Speech project, and if you were a French fry, you somehow made it through French 3's essay test, all while studying for the ACTs, finishing classes like pre-cal, and beginning our college searches. It was this year that our classmates gave us one of the best track teams CSAS has ever offered, with our classmates winning multiple state titles and one even attending an international invitational track meet in Cuba. We had a National Merit Scholar, and some of our basketball players and softball players made it to all district. We even had a student win the regional award for her participation in the science fair, just to name a few of the incredible accomplishments our grade had that 11th grade year. We began to buckle down and truly think about what we wished our futures to look like, which brings us to now, our final year at CSAS. This year has been one to remember, to say the least. We were deprived of so many lasts because of Corona, and the current state of the world is heartbreaking. Beliefs are being challenged, and what is right has become unclear to so many people. But this is where we can use what CSAS has taught us to our advantage. We've grown up being taught to listen to what others have to say and to gain more perspectives rather than just sticking to one. For 13 years, we have been listening to what our classmates share, what they believe in, and what they'd fight for if given the opportunity. We have been broadening our opinions and have learned to keep an open mind, which enables us to make change in the world. We are able to speak up in a professional way and fight against injustices. We will be able to leave the world a better place than when we came into it. Our final year of high school is the part of our letter that gets a little fuzzy, because that's what it is, fuzzy. We started the year off missing people. For all of us who didn't get the chance to make it today. We had an abrupt start that was a goodbye none of us imagined we'd ever have to make. It added to our confusion and made things even more blurry, and that haze continued as our see you laters in March morphed into unexpected farewells. For the past 13 years, everything we ever needed to know was laid out before us, and now we're all headed in different directions, and it feels like we're being thrown into the unknown, which may seem scary, but fear is just a 4-letter word, F-E-A-R, future events appearing real, and we should never cower in the face of unknown opportunities. We are headed into the next phases of our lives, but it will be okay, because today marks the end of an era, the end of the first book in our lives. And though some of our parents or faculty members may be teary-eyed out there in the audience, we often forget that our lives are a series of novels and not just a single volume. By attending CSAS and knowing the teachers we do and learning beside the people here today, I am confident in what will be written in our sequels. CSAS has just been one part of our story, and while this school and our classmates has been a major one, there is so much more left out there for us. A magnanimous woman once said in Calcutta, "Yesterday is gone, tomorrow has not yet come. We only have today. Let us begin." So, class of 2020, here's to us and the exciting new beginning of our next story. We did it!
I'd like to just make one point clarification that our kids did not pull that fire alarm. They did not. Graduates, just a few minutes ago, I spoke of several reasons why your parents chose CSAS for you. They wanted you here for all those reasons, but deep, deep down, they knew this as well, that college and careers start here. You see, for over 30 years, that's why what CSAS has done best. We prepare you for the next step. Not only do we ready you for the next step, we know from data that because you went to CSAS, that you double your chances of getting through the next step and earning your degree. This graduating class has received offers of scholarships and grants right at $10 million, with actually some of that still being announced. They've also reached 16,238 hours and 45 minutes of volunteering in our community. College and careers do start here. It starts at the early age of kindergarten at CSAS and CSLA, and now you are ready. Miss Tiffany Robinson, if you'll stand, I'm going to do it from over there. Hamilton County schools set the goal, and actually, seniors, if you'll stand, please. Hamilton County schools set the goal for schools to prepare our students to be future ready. CSAS has met that goal and will continue to change the world one graduating class at a time. Like Benjamin Franklin said so wisely, tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. By the power vested in me by the superintendent, the Board of Education, our representative Tiffany Robinson, and the state of Tennessee, I accept and affirm these students as meeting all the requirements for graduation set forth by the Hamilton County Board of Education, the state of Tennessee, and the Chattanooga School for the Arts and Sciences. You are now duly authorized graduates of CSAS. Congratulations. And now we're going to...
Jordan Deshaun Morris. Michaela Natalie Wall. Jeremiah Anthony Taylor. Frederick James Abercrombie. Noor Jamal Al Ghul. Keith Robert Alston. Anusha Satish Aswath. Heidi Lane Avery. Quinlan Patrick Bothrop. Cara Diane Barney. Corbin Delane Bright. Grant Wilder Brooks. Kayla Danielle Brown. Carly Saran Carter. Aiden Wesley Castle. Jacob Altick Kate. Eric Leo Chang. Lillian Taylor Chastain. Natalie Tess Clem. Caleb Laron Colvin. Addison Grace Conley. Riley Shannon Craig. Jalen DeAndre Crockett. Alexandra Alicia Crowder. Logan Nathaniel Crum. Marina Sarah Dawood. Timothy Seth Deshay. Travion LeBron Dixon. Andrew Christopher Dorsey. Alea Tanaya Dozier. Kaya Mackenzie Duckett. Eric Jefferson Duree. Donovan Broderick Eason. Camden Stone Edwards. Stormy Renee Elrod. Jafari Malik Estelle. Colton Zane Friday. Gianna LaShawn Few. Aiden Crawford Gaston. Sasha Lee Golden. Catherine Sigrid Greenwell. Serenity Ari Hampton. Liliana Nicole Hatch. Tamar Alicia Hayes. Rayleigh Spencer Hendricks. Ethan Cole Hibbs. Andrew James Hicks. Robert Samuel Holcamp. Catherine Louise Hopper. Jonathan Thomas Joseph. Sydney Lynn Capperman. Madison Cameron Kerr. Paul Michael Kinser.
Michael Quintel Kitchens. James Callan Kroll. Deanna Janae Lansden. John Robert Lazenby. Jasmine Shanvay Lewis. Chen Lin. Megan Hillary Long. Carol Grayson Longwood. Abigail Michaela Grace Martins. Colden Paul Martin. Kimberly Avery Matson Conley. Aspen Nicole Matthews. Malia Ashanti Mays. Sophia Rachel McDonough. Megan Alexis Miners. Yasmin Monir Minkara. Jameson Ann Mobley. Emmanuel Prince Moon. Alexander Dylan Moore. Spencer Britton Moore. Sydney Ann Morris. Nolan Elijah Mott. Clarence Edward Neal. Anaja Uriah Norman. Rais Altari Norhidayat. Eric Daniel Overberg. Brianna Teresa Palmer. Catherine Isabella Parks. Shania Janae Patton. Megan Elaine Patton. Farron Amaya Peterson. Isabella Alexandria Polk. Nathaniel Edward Poland. Hannah Morell Purrier. Christopher Lamont Ramsey. Micaiah Yukira Reynolds. Nicholas Crane Ringhofer. Kaylee Dean Robertson. Susanna Del Rodriguez. Tamia Janae Rochelle. Clayton Reed Scott. Brinley Isabella Screws. Mungwa Shin. Brevin Dion Sims. Christina Grace Smith. Zoe Kaya Starry. Catherine Tyler Stachewski. Emma Grace Stewart. Elena Jane Thomas. Asia Nicole Torrey. Ashley Nicole Twitty. Jeremiah Deshaun Vinson. Madeline Kate Williams.
Congratulations again. Congratulations. Before we go, I'd like to close with a short message, and then we'll get to see you guys march out. Just as a reminder, I know it's going to be hard to do this, but do your best to continue to stay socially distanced as you can. I know it's going to be hard as we want to congratulate folks, but if you will exit the same way you entered, that'd be wonderful. If you feel the need to grab a chair and take it back to the gym lobby, we wouldn't argue with you at all for that. But if you will just try to do that as we close this out. So seniors, my final words to you. I've been doing some personal reading during this time that we've had available to us, and I hope that you have as well. One of the books that I've been reading is named Becoming Bulletproof by Evie Pomporis, who is a female Secret Service agent. At the beginning of one of the chapters, it's about mental resilience. She begins with a quote from Greek philosopher Epicurus. He wrote, "You don't develop courage by being happy in a relationship every day. You develop it by surviving difficult times and challenging adversity." I haven't been able to shake these words from my head since I read them. They make me reflect on my own life and your past year and the years to come. It makes me think of a diamond that is originally coal and graphite, compressed at such pressures and temperatures that eventually it develops into a beautiful jewel that is coveted by so many. It also makes me think of a jagged rock that sits in a riverbed only to have water rush over it and pound it relentlessly to develop such a smooth rock with colors sometimes unimaginable. I think of the pressure, the heat, the pounding of water, and think of difficult times and adversity that Epicurus refers to. You've dealt with adversity in relationships. You've dealt with difficult times during challenging courses or classes. You've dealt with hate, hurt, prejudices, heartbreaks, pain, disappointment, racism, anger, and pandemics. And you'll deal with that a lot more as time goes on. Every year I share that the ultimate goal for us as educators is to change the world one graduating class at a time. I'll be honest, the burden to change the world seems to multiply every year as well, so it's a heavy burden. Just remember that these difficulties and periods of adversity are not meant to break us. I believe they are meant to smooth us out or pressure us into a beautiful jewel. We believe that you all are all beautiful jewels and that you're just still being designed and developed as we watch you now. You might be scared about what's next for you because it can be a scary place out there. But I leave you with one last thought before we go. It's a quotation from the great writer E.E. Cummings. He said, "It takes courage to grow up and become who you really are." It takes courage to grow up and become who you really are. I ask that you know what makes you tick, that you know who you really want to be, and have the courage to do what others might not. You may just change the world. Congratulations to all of you on your graduation. Congratulations. Huh? You take what you can. Pomp and circle. If you'll stand, we're going to exit to pomp and circumstance. Oh, sorry.